truth or trash, Devin Booker will finish in the top 3 of MVP voting this year.
Well, so what's got to happen, right? The Suns have to be super good, uh, which they did
They've got
last year.
5 bankable players, and Mike Vigil from the Timeline podcast came on when we were doing the Suns look ahead and said, Dan, you're going to like or love Jock Landale. And I'm going to tell you, I am now hyper intrigued by Jock Landale. It's Phoenix's propensity just being able to figure out the backup center rotation. It's 1 year, oh, look, Dario Saric, and they're downsizing. And then next is, oh, they have JaVale McGee and Bismack Biyombo. And now it's, oh, they have Jock Landale, and it just works. But I'm sorry to interrupt with you.
No.
But,
so that's the thing is like, I guess I have no question about Devin Booker having the game to be a top 3 MVP guy. Like he's just, he adds a little bit every year. I think too, like not even low key, but Chris Paul has not looked like a guy that's going to be able to shoulder the load playmaking wise for the full year or for even the number of minutes he played last year. Again, it's early, but like you would hope that the guy you're concerned about breaking down at least starts, looking like he's good.
I should look this up, but it felt like he's missed like 1 trillion wide open threes this year. And I just have to believe, even though he's never been high volume catch and shoot guy, like that's going to stabilize.
But he's also a really small point guard I can never remember. He's 37, 36, whichever it is. It's like way past the expiration date for that player type, even considering guys just play longer now.
He's 37, turns 38 in May, but I appreciate you don't remember his age because you won't discriminate against
it. I'm not an ageist. Not at all. So I got to go trash. And I hate to say it because I think Booker is like a top 10 guy probably. But I don't know that the Suns are going to be quite good enough. And I don't know that, I guess that's really what it comes down to is I think he could have a good enough season. I'm just not, and it's bullshit because why do we care? If a guy has an awesome year and it's all the advanced numbers back it up, like why does it matter? But you tend to have to finish pretty high. The West is tough. There's going to be 3 guys, I think that have better seasons than him, I guess is what it comes down to.
I'm going with truth in part because I had him 3rd on my preseason MVP. So it was pretty stupid to go trash. But a lot of the stuff that you talked about is why, where it's if there's any sort of pullbck from CP3, that increases the value of Devin Booker to the Suns.
It cuts both ways, though. Like the team is a little worse, but Booker's going to get those that will sop up the numbers potentially. Well,
so they won 64 games last year. A version of the Suns that wins 50 with Devin Booker as by far and away their best player, where it's not a conversation between CP3. You don't think his MVP case becomes... I guess he did finish, what was he, 5th or 4th last year? But I think they're going to be good enough, in part because, first of all, the chemistry between him and DeAndre Ayton is just there. And DeAndre Ayton's come out, for the most part, like gangbusters this season. As Cam Johnson gets healthier, Mikal Bridges has had his usual dose of just really nice moments. He hit a quick release 3 over Kawhi Leonard against the Clippers, and I, of course, swooned because I'm just never going to give up this idea that Mikal Bridges will become more decisive as a scorer at some point in his career. So there's combustibility to them, which I actually think drums up his MVP case because when I say shallow, I think you can look at players on their roster and it's like, well, Cam Payne, like, oh, he's defending his butt off against the Clippers, or Landry Shamet, if he's hitting his threes. Damian Lee's had some good moments, but like, you run 5 deep on certainty at this point. It might be 4, depending on what's going on with CP3. And that's going to aid his MVP case. And I think you're going to rely on him more as a playmaker this year, that you're going to continue to get to those lineups where even if he's not the point guard by classification, he's still just your point guard. Like independent of CP3, you're not moving him off the ball as much because you can't afford to. We've seen it a lot through the first 3 games. The cadence and poise with which he plays at in the half court, he really helped fuel that comeback in the 4th quarter when he came in against Dallas in game 1 of the season. I'm not trying to scale ahead or extrapolate too far off of a handful of performances, but like this is someone who feels like an every level scorer right now. There's a little bit more like abruption to the way that he's playing. And then there's also just, the 3 is going to fall. And I think he's one of my favorite players to watch in the NBA. I think because some people, to me, still probably just don't understand how good and valuable he is. And so when I look at the MVP discussion right now, I'm like, okay, realistically, Giannis is just going to be there. And I have Giannis winning the award. And I'm not prepared to put anybody after that in front of Booker because there's all the caveats. In Philly, it's, well, what happens with Embiid and Harden? Do they cannibalize attention for each other? Are their Mavs good enough with Luka? I think a lot of people would put Luka ahead of him. Steph, is he going to play enough in Golden State this season? Is there going to be too much garbage time in Golden State because they're just absolutely just steamrolling opponents? Are they going to blow enough leads to get him back in the fourth quarter like they did on Sunday against the Kings? So there are players like finishing the top 3 of MVP is just ridiculously hard. There's only one player right now I'm prepared to say is going to finish ahead of him though on it. And it's in part because of my belief, not just about Devin Booker, but that the Suns are going to be good enough to keep him sort of at the fore of this discussion. And if it's happening in the backdrop of, okay, they're shallower, CP3 is not sort of the world beater that he was for most of last year, that helps his MVP case.